Retirement has three distinct stages: the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. And if you're anything like me, I definitely want to be able to take advantage of the go-go years. So, hi, I'm Rebecca. Welcome to my channel. I am currently 53 years old, and as of today, I have exactly $35,000 in my retirement savings account, which is a problem because I'd like to retire this year. If you're anything like me, I spent a lot of time last year really thinking about the process of retirement, what that would involve and what I would need to do. And I'm really wanting to start embarking on that journey this year. And it occurred to me that there might be a lot of other people in a similar situation who would benefit from seeing the process. I don't think anyone's in exactly the same situation because we're all in such unique situations in terms of our finances and our health and our energy and our desire to retire and whether we enjoy our work or not. But the one thing that I do think we have in common is that we don't talk about it. No one really shares openly what their situation is and what their expectations are. There are certainly government studies that show how much money you'll need, but I feel like I need more depth, more information, and I'm hoping that by sharing my story and my journey in the process to get to retirement, because it will certainly be a journey, that it might help some other people along the way. And if not, it might be good for a laugh because I'm just not really sure how it's going to turn out. So to give you a little bit of background, as I said, I'm 53, I've got $35,000 in retirement savings. I do have other investments, so it's not that that's all that I've done. I just haven't put very much into the retirement account. Now, I know there'll be viewers from many different countries. I'm based in Australia, but every country has some kind of a retirement account system, money that you can put in. Perhaps you contribute, your employer will contribute to that. You can contribute a certain amount. It's probably favourable from a tax perspective, and you may or may not get a government pension. In Australia, you only get it if you're under a certain income or assets bracket, so not everybody gets it. And perhaps if you do qualify for it early in your retirement, then that probably means you don't have a lot of money saved. But it's certainly something that as the years go on and you spend more of your money, you might access. But every country is a little bit different. I think it's really important that we learn, whatever country you're in, that you learn how to take advantage of the incentives that are available. And I won't be going into any detail because that's really not what this is about. This is more about the journey for the individual. So the past for me really is that up until a few years ago, I really didn't think a lot about retirement, and then all of a sudden I started to, and it occurred to me that there was not a lot of money in the retirement account. And it also occurred to me that what I have in my hands in terms of other assets may actually already be enough anyway. And as I sat with that thought, it occurred to me, so why am I continuing to work? Exactly what is the reason for that? And it's simply because it's not sitting in that retirement savings account. And if it were, I probably would make very different decisions. So, and there's nothing wrong with the way that I've done it in terms of the sorts of investments that we've done. But sometimes you just need to realize that maybe you've already arrived where you need to be. There's a saying, goes something like, you're still running the race when you don't realise you've already won. Now, I'm not saying that I've won the race, but maybe I've already done enough. And that's the realisation I had. But then there's a whole lot of other thoughts, and these are probably things that you're going through in your mind as well, which is, but I really enjoy my work and I want to keep working. And maybe you hate your job. Everyone's a little different in that sense. My situation is that I'm almost had already started to move towards retirement, because the truth is that I don't think I've ever liked a job in my life. There's always been things about it that I didn't like. If I enjoyed the work, I didn't like the restriction. I didn't like not having very many weeks off for holidays. So I ended up working for myself for most of my career. And for the most part, that's been really good. And it's given me the level of freedom that I enjoy. And for the most part, it's given me a satisfactory income. But what it doesn't give you is the security of income. So one thing that I actually really fantasize when I look forward to to retirement is that I'd actually get a really steady income, probably for the first time in my life, which I know is perhaps the opposite for many people going from a job to income off savings. So that's something different, and I'm already doing things that you might like to consider doing as you downsize your career and start looking at side hustles and things. I already do some of those things. I have a few different streams of income from different side hustles I've currently doing or have done in the past. So the other things that have been really running through my mind, I guess, that I'm really aware of is this idea of the go-go years, and the fact that statistically somewhere in your 60s apparently is when you'll really begin to lose the ability to travel and take advantage of those go-go years. And I'm not saying that you can't travel once you're older than 60, but we don't know what's ahead of us. And I think statistically it's somewhere in just past 65 where people start to really be affected by health that starts to cramp their lifestyle. And by maybe mid-70s, most people are unable to embark on international journeys. And, being from Australia, just about anywhere that I would want to go is an incredibly long-haul flight. So you need to kind of be able to consider that into your plans. And travel is certainly a major part of what I'd like to do in retirement. But there's a bunch of other things, a lot of other hobbies that I'd like to pursue as well, as I'm sure you do. And then certainly I spent a lot of last year thinking about what would it actually be like to be retired. And after sometimes thinking, well, maybe I'd get bored. And so then I'd think maybe I'll just keep working a bit longer. But I'd think about it a bit more. And the more I've built that up and planned what I'd like to do and started to engage in some of those hobbies again, I have this sensation it's going to be like going back to high school when you'd have those really long summer holidays and you're free to just do whatever, or at least that's how my summer holidays were as a child. I felt really free. I could do whatever I wanted to do every day. There was no expectations on me, and it was just a real time of happiness, and I'm hoping that's what retirement might feel like a bit. I don't hear anyone else talking about it that way, so maybe I'm way off. And hey, if you've already retired and you have some experience, I'd love you to respond and put some comments in and let me know what your thoughts are on that. Am I way off? But that's what I'm really hoping for, and I'm really quite excited about it. And I have to say that's probably the biggest motivation, alongside the idea of just having some sort of regular income. It's one of the biggest motivations that I have towards getting myself organised and ready to retire. So the fears that arise and the frustrations that I'm going through personally are that whilst I have taken steps to securing my financial future, a lot of that is outside of the environment of a retirement account. So primarily I've invested in real estate. So in order to the best idea would be to now look at selling some of those properties and moving those funds into a more tax effective and retirement based account. And it's just not straightforward, because I have to sell those properties, and that's not straightforward because before I can sell them I need to really fix them up. They've been rentals for a really long time. I actually Airbnb them, which is currently a stream of income for us, but in order to get them to a stage where I think they'll maximise the value, I've got to do a little bit of work on those. So there's that initially. I also have a business which is a saleable asset. So in order to get a business ready, a bit like real estate, you need to get certain things in place to make sure there's a really good structure so that the next owner would be able to come along and continue to run that. So that's something else that I need to get in place at the same time. So there's a few things a few hurdles I've got to go through. And naturally you worry about whether the valuations will come in where you're expecting them. And at the same time, to some degree, I'm losing motivation in doing them. And I thought I'd just share some of those. Now, this is a really unique situation. I know not everyone's got a business to sell, and not everybody's got a property to sell, and certainly not everybody's an Airbnb host. But there will be some of you who perhaps relate to aspects of that. And I also want to continue doing some sort of activity. I believe that that's actually another part of my motivation, perhaps to get onto YouTube, is to have some sort of an outlet and for creativity and to some degree the business side of it, but not so much for the financials of it, but for the reward of it. And to have, I just see a lot of people who stop working, whether it's for retirement or other reasons, and seem to be a little bit lost. So I don't want to go down that path, and I want to have the opportunity to throw myself into something if I feel that it's necessary and of interest. And I thought I would start with just the journey of my retirement, setting it up, getting ready to be able to make that decision. For some of you, it might be as easy as just going to your employer and letting them know that you'd like to resign. And I envy you, to be honest. I feel like mine is just a lot of work and a lot of hurdles to overcome, and it doesn't feel like a straightforward process. However, would love you to participate in that journey. I'd love some feedback. I'd love you to be involved in as much that perhaps I can show you some of the things that we're working on. And I'll try and be really transparent about the figures so that you can see how we go and building that retirement account and the different things that we'll be doing to try and improve that situation. Maybe there's some people out there who are in a somewhat similar situation and would like to see how somebody else has approached it. So the plan is for this year, first of all, we'd like to sell an investment property that we have. It's a holiday rental, and it rents really well, which is actually a real problem because I do need to do some work to it before I can sell it. But before I can to actually physically get into the house to do the work is really hard. So we have next week, we have a gap in bookings. So we intend to go up and do some preliminary work and really just assess what else needs to be done. But then it's booked out for about 3 months, so we won't be able to get back into the house until sort of around April time. But of course it's Easter and it's peak season, so we'll probably try and rent it for some of that to capitalise on the higher income. And then by late April, we'd really like to be in a position to start working on the house and preparing it for sale. It won't be a quick process. There's a fair few things we'd like to do that we believe will improve the likelihood of a really good price, but who knows, markets are changing. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 then will be to sell my business. So that initially is really just a lot of preparation work and getting that ready for sale. So those are the first 2 steps that we'd like to take. We do have further assets that we may decide to sell or we may decide to keep. We haven't actually decided that. And even if we decide to sell, it may not be a good idea to do it straight away just from a tax perspective, so we may delay the process of that. So I thought I would just share that with you as a starter, and then if you would like to hear the sort of the next steps and see, well, next week we'll go to the property and I'll do some filming there so you can see what we've been doing and talk to you about perhaps a little bit about that as an Airbnb if that's something that you're interested in from the perspective of being a host or what it's like to be a host. And then I will discuss what we're going to do, and then down the track you might get to see it go through the sales process if that's of interest for you. We might also do some other videos just discussing various other aspects such as this, running small businesses from home or being an Airbnb host, the good, the bad and the ugly. I can be fairly frank about how that's been. We don't just do Airbnb, we also have our own website and we list on other OTAs, online travel agents as well. So that might be something that you want to learn a little bit about, and I'm happy to do a few videos on that. But let me know if that's something, if people say that that's something they'd like to hear more about, then I'm happy to share more about that. We also have a business which is a direct sales business, or a direct to consumer business I should say, on Amazon. So we sell products on Amazon. We also have a nutritional company which we really don't do any work in. We continue to use the products, but we still have an income stream coming from that, as well as we do have a small share portfolio as well. So we've got a number of different things going on. Our goal really now is just to really consolidate that and then put it into the market in a way that it's easy to get a fairly predictable recurring stream of income. So a little bit like the idea of having multiple streams of income. Well, now I want to turn that into just a little waterfall that comes down to a nice little pool for us that we can draw on a regular salary. So that is the goal. I hope you'll come along with us on the journey and just see how it all proceeds. We'd love to have some participation from you. We'd love to see what your thoughts are. Where are you? Are you in the process of planning a retirement? And perhaps let's go through this as a cohort together as we plan for retirement. So it's really good. Nice to have a chat. Good chat.